Good morning. The Subcommittee on Technology and Innovation will come to order. Pursuant to notice, the Subcommittee on Technology and Innovation meets to consider the following measure, H.R. 1868, the Technology, Innovation, and Manufacturing Stimulation Act of 2007. We will now proceed to the markup, beginning with opening statements, and I shall begin. I'd like to welcome everyone to the first markup of the Technology and Innovation Subcommittee. Today we will be marking up H.R. 1868, a bill that reauthorizes the programs of the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST. NIST has not had a comprehensive reauthorization since 1992, and it is long overdue. Dr. Ehlers shares this viewpoint, and I'm hoping that together we can get this bipartisan bill to the President for signature. I thank Dr. Gingrey, Dr. Ehlers, and Ranking Member Hall for working with us together in a spirit of cooperation to craft this legislation. This bill contains several provisions from H.R. 255, introduced by Dr. Ehlers earlier this year. H.R. 1868 is a stronger bill as a result of this bipartisan effort. For over 100 years, NIST has made important contributions to public safety, industrial competitiveness, and economic growth through standards and measurements. NIST will be a key part of American innovation in the next 100 years. Today's bill, the Technology, Innovation, and Manufacturing Stimulation Act of 2007, puts NIST on a 10-year path to doubling as an investment in our innovation future. It strengthens the internal research being performed at NIST so that its Nobel Prize-winning work will continue to make key scientific advances. It funds construction projects to improve laboratory facilities at both the Boulder, Colorado, and Gaithersburg, Maryland campuses. It grows the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program so that more small manufacturers around the country can benefit from the important services MEP provides. And it replaces the Advanced Technology Program with an innovative effort to target small and medium businesses for limited cost-sharing funding of technological breakthroughs which potentially have broad public benefit. H.R. 1868 also makes important changes to the manufacturing policy that were adopted from Dr. Ehlers' bill, H.R. 255, including the creation of a Manufacturing Extension Center competitive grant program, a collaborative manufacturing pilot program, and a set of manufacturing research fellowships at NIST. These programs will encourage advances in manufacturing technology and help overcome technical barriers to innovation. Specifically, H.R. 1868 authorizes the NIST laboratory programs at $471 million in FY08, $498 million in FY09, and $538 million in FY210. These numbers put the lab programs on a path to doubling in 10 years, consistent with the President's American Competitiveness Initiative. The bill authorizes the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award Program at $7.9 million FY08, $8.1 million in FY09, and $8.3 million in 2010. It authorizes the construction and maintenance account at $94 million in FY08, $86 million in FY09, and $50 million in FY210. These amounts fund the completion of the laboratory construction at NIST's Boulder, Colorado campus and upgrades to the NIST Center for Neutron Research at Gaithersburg, Maryland. They also provide funding for routine maintenance of the existing facilities. The bill authorizes the MEP partnership at $113 million in FY08, $122 million in FY09, $132 million in FY210. These amounts put the MEP program on a path to doubling in 10 years and are supported by the American Small Manufacturers Coalition. The bill creates the Technology Innovation Program, which responds to global innovation competition by funding high-risk, high-reward, pre-competitive technology development with high potential for public benefit, focusing on small and medium-sized high-tech firms. Many of these policy changes were suggested by the administration in a legislative package submitted to Congress in 2002. H.R. 1868 also requires the NIST director to submit annual programmatic planning documents that will address the plans for NIST direction in the next 3 years. It requires a visiting committee to comment on the 3-year plans and establishes in statute advisory boards for both the MEP and the Technology Innovation Program, and requires the advisory boards to comment on the director's 3-year plans. As chairman of the subcommittee and a member of the Science and Technology Committee since 1999, I'm very familiar with NIST. But despite its important role, many of my colleagues in Congress and many leaders in business industry don't know very much about NIST or about the importance of standards in fostering innovation, competitiveness, and economic growth. Today's bill is an important first step in a broader discussion we need to have about standards, technology, and competitiveness. Now, I would like to recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee and the co-sponsor of this bill, Dr. Gingrey, for his comments.
Thank you, Chairman Wu. And I thank you for holding the markup today to consider H.R. 1868, the Technology, Innovation, and Manufacturing Stimulation Act of 2007. I am original co-sponsor of this bill because I believe it will ensure our nation's technological competitiveness for decades to come. Last year, with his American Competitiveness Initiative, President Bush provided a vision to maintain America's position in the global marketplace by doubling our investment in physical science research over the next 10 years. H.R. 1868 helps fulfill the President's vision by authorizing the lab programs at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or as we know it since 100 years ago, NIST. As Congress looks to the future of the technology industry in this country, NIST research will prove to be indispensable for the maturation of cutting-edge basic research into successful commercial products. I thank Chairman Wu for incorporating our priorities for NIST into this comprehensive authorization bill and for incorporating concerns from NIST into the technical amendment we will consider today. At this point, I would like to yield the balance of my time, Mr. Chairman, to the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Ehlers, and I know he wants to make some brief remarks on this bill as he has worked so hard in crafting it. And I yield now to the gentleman from Michigan.
I thank the gentleman very much for yielding, and I appreciate his hard work on this. It's amusing just to think back a year when we were working on the same bill, much more restrictive than this one. And I think this is an improvement. But roles were reversed last year. Mr. Chairman, you were sitting in this side, and I was sitting in your seat. I'm pleased we worked so well together then, and we continue to work together well. I will just give a brief oral statement, and I ask that without objection my full statement be entered into the record. The Technology, Innovation, and Manufacturing Competitiveness Act is a bill of great importance to our national competitiveness. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, better known as NIST, plays a pivotal role in the innovation process by working very closely with industry and programs to transfer innovative technologies from the laboratory into the field. A key aspect of that is a manufacturing extension partnership. And I've encountered some individuals who question the appropriateness of the federal government doing this. My response is very simple. We've been doing it for almost 150 years through the Cooperative Extension Service for Agriculture. We currently still spend $400 million a year on agriculture cooperative extension. I fail to understand, and which incidentally employs less than 2% of the people in the country. I fail to understand those people who object to this when in fact we spend $400 million a year on less than 2% of the population. We have 15% of our population in manufacturing. What is so terrible about spending $100 million to help that industry along? End of sermon. Back to my prepared statement. The President's American Competitiveness Initiative started in 2006 thanks to the work of many of the members on this committee as well as the work of Norm Augenstein on the National Academy of Sciences report. But the President was kind enough to develop the American Competitiveness Initiative, which launched a three-pronged program to competitiveness by strengthening research at the National Science Foundation, the Office of Science at the Department of Energy, and the Laboratory Research and Construction Accounts of NIST. This bill addresses the last of these agencies by fully supporting the ACI requested improvements, as well as reauthorizing programs at NIST, crucial to our global competitiveness. I am proud that this bill has been crafted in a bipartisan manner and incorporates many ideas included in legislation that I introduced in both the 108th and 109th Congresses, focused on strengthening U.S. manufacturing. In both Congresses, the bill was passed by the House. I might also add that this afternoon, this very committee, another subcommittee of the Science Committee, will be considering the same aspect as related to the National Science Foundation. So at the end of this week, we'll be batting 2 out of 3, and that's a higher percentage than almost any major leaguer gets. Although manufacturing has experienced tremendous technological gains over the last few years, international competition has exacted a terrible toll on our nation's manufacturing. This bill will help address long-term problems facing our nation's manufacturers by broadening and strengthening manufacturing extension services and creating a new program to revive manufacturing innovation through collaborative research and development. I know my colleagues understand that it is incredibly important to our future for this nation to remain competitive today. Congress must provide a coherent federal response to the changes that are underway in manufacturing and to support the technological innovation that is fundamental to retaining our manufacturing strength. This bill provides a mechanism for that crucial response, and I look forward to working with my colleagues on this issue. Once again, thank the chairman of the subcommittee and the ranking Republican member for their hard work on this bill, and I deeply appreciate their cooperation. With that, I yield back.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back the balance of my time at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Gingrey. And any other members who have an opening statement may place it in the record at this point without objection. So ordered. I ask unanimous consent that the bill is considered as read and open to amendment at any point, and that members proceed with the amendments in the order of the roster without objection. So ordered. Pursuant to discussions with Dr. Gingrey and others in the minority, I propose we consider the amendments which the chair supports en bloc. Therefore, I ask unanimous consent that the committee consider the following amendments en bloc. Amendment number 1, offered by myself and Dr. Gingrey. Amendment number 2, offered by the gentleman from Utah, Mr. Matheson. Without objection, so ordered. Clerk will report the amendments.
Amendment to H.R. 1868, offered by Mr. Wu of Oregon and Mr. Gingrey of Georgia.
Ask unanimous consent to dispense with the reading. Without objection, so ordered. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes to explain the amendments. On the Wu, Gingrey, and Matheson amendments, I realize that everyone has had is planning a busy day, and I would like to ask for unanimous consent that my full statement with a complete amendment description be inserted into the record. The Wu, Gingrey amendment includes a number of technical provisions that have been requested by NIST since 2002. They primarily update provisions to better reflect current NIST operations. Democratic and Republican staffs have worked closely in drafting this language, and I will add that there are corresponding provisions in the Senate Competes bill, which includes an authorization for NIST. As we are considering Representative Matheson's amendment in the en bloc consideration, I want to say a few words about his amendment. His amendment is based upon a recommendation and study of the National Academy of Public Administration, and it has the support of the MEP centers, and he has worked closely with Representative Ehlers in drafting this language. Representative Matheson's amendment is a good amendment and a good addition to this bill, and I support it, and I'd like to yield to the gentleman for comments that he may have.
Well, thank you, Subcommittee Chairman Wu, and also Ranking Member Gingrey for working with me on this amendment. I just want to give a brief description, if I could. As we know, the MEP program has been very successful in creating and retaining manufacturing jobs, and particularly in my state of Utah, I can tell you that's happened. After visiting with manufacturers in my state, it's become clear to me that more could be done to help U.S. manufacturers remain competitive. And let me give a quick example to illustrate where I think we can make some progress. There's a swimming pool cover manufacturer in Utah who can make a pool cover in which most all of the materials, including the motors, metal, wheels, and gears, will last for 20 years. But the vinyl cover material has only a life of 5 years. If the manufacturer gets hands on a new vinyl cover material that is UV light resistant and weather and freeze resistant for 20 years, you'd be able to make a product with greater value with a comparable lifespan for all the component parts. So our problem is manufacturers need to be able to properly define their technological needs, but they also need to match those needs with available technologies that may be being created across the U.S. There may be a researcher in a university lab or one of our national sponsor labs that's developed a polymer that is UV and weather resistant, but the last thing on the researcher's mind in one of those labs is getting that polymer into the hands of a swimming pool cover manufacturer in the state of Utah. So if we can try to bridge this gap of trying to match up and give opportunity for new technologies to develop and help people on the manufacturing side, that would be, in my opinion, a good thing. So as the chairman mentioned, there's a study commissioned by NIST in 2002 that concurred with this assessment, talking about the need for leveraging technology and assisting with technology transfer. My amendment's really simple. It expands the Manufacturing Extension Center Competitive Grant Program in Section 203C of the bill to emphasize the need to improve technology transfer and infusions into a manufacturer's process. It's supported by the American Small Manufacturers Coalition. I urge my colleagues to support the amendment, and I yield back my time.
Thank the gentleman. And Dr. Gingrey, do you have comments on either of the amendments?
Well, Mr. Chairman, just to say that in regard to the Jim Matheson amendment, we have no objections. Not even to go a step further, we applaud his amendment, and I think it is a good amendment, and certainly I plan to support it. In regard to Mr. Chairman, our amendment, basically the manager's amendment, as you point out, essentially makes just technical changes. Some of them actually at NIST request, and conforms to changes in outdated parts of NIST underlying statute, and there are a number of other provisions. But we're certainly in favor of that manager's amendment. Mr. Chairman, if I could, I would like at this point, if it's the appropriate time, to yield to Ms. Biggert. I think she wanted to make some comments, and if that's okay, I would like to yield my time now to Judy Biggert from Illinois.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it doesn't pertain to a specific amendment, but I think goes to the bill. And although Mr. Matheson was actually talking about something that relates, Section 204 of this bill would replace what we have long known as the Advanced Technology Program, or ATP, with a new and different technology innovation program. While I understand and appreciate that the chairman and the majority staff have incorporated input from the administration in the legislative text of Section 204 before us today, some of us have had only a few days to review it. And unlike most of the provisions in this bill, which have been approved by the committee previously, Section 204 represents new provisions and new language. And neither this subcommittee nor the full committee has held hearings on these new provisions. So after reviewing this section of the bill, I think our national laboratories could play a supporting role in the technology innovation program. And I know for a fact that Argonne National Laboratory in my district helps companies, large and small, overcome major technical challenges with research and development, and thus remain competitive. And I actually have been working with some of these companies to see how they progressed after that support from Argonne. So the establishment clause of the Technology Innovation Program asserts that its purpose is to accelerate the development and application of challenging, high-risk technologies that promise widespread economic benefits for our nation, end quote. I think it's safe to say that the advanced energy technologies fit this bill very well. While they are often challenging and involve significant risk, accelerating their development could easily lead to widespread national economic benefits. In such cases, the Department of Energy's national laboratories could be a company's best partner in accelerating the development and application of new energy technologies. So if we are to be true to the purpose of this program, I can't think of any reason why we shouldn't figure out an appropriate way to involve our national laboratories. And I would hope that the chairman would agree to work with me on this idea in advance of next week's full committee markup. And I would yield to the chairman for a response.
I yield back my time, Mr. Chairman.
I look forward to working with the gentlelady and both sides of the committee staff to see if this adjustment or addition is appropriate for this particular legislation ahead of next week's full committee markup.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. I look forward to working with you to ensure our national laboratories can play a meaningful role in this new program. And yield back.
I thank the gentlelady. Is there any further discussion on the amendments? If not, the vote occurs on both of the amendments. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. The yeas have it, and the amendment is agreed to. Are there any other amendments? Hearing none, the vote is on the bill, H.R. 1868, the Technology Innovation and Manufacturing Stimulation Act of 2007, as amended. All those in favor will say aye. Aye. All those opposed will say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. I recognize Dr. Gingrey to offer a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the subcommittee favorably report H.R. 1868 as amended to the full committee. And furthermore, I move that the staff be instructed to prepare the subcommittee legislative report and to make any necessary technical and conforming changes to the bill as amended in accordance with the recommendations of the subcommittee.
The question now is on the motion to report the bill favorably. Those in favor of the motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is favorably reported. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid.
Mr. Chairman, under the committee rules, I ask that members be permitted to submit supplemental minority or additional views on this measure.
So ordered. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. I want to thank members for their attendance, and this concludes our subcommittee markup.